Whistle trouble. Sir Handel was cross. "I'm overworked," he complained to Peter, Sam, and Ivo Hugh one morning. "It's always the same in the summer months. They think we've got nothing better to do than ferry them from place to place. Worse still, I'm first out, too." Peter Sam was quick to disagree with Sir Handel's rant. "Passengers are our coal and water, Sir Handel. You should know that. Remember what happened on our old railway when we had none? We closed down." "Peter Sam's right," agreed Ivo Hugh. "You should be more grateful." Sir Handel just snorted. "You're young and impressionable, Ivo Hugh, but you'll learn one day." He went off in a huff to collect his train from the station. When he arrived, the platform was swarming with waiting passengers. "Bother," grumbled Sir Handel. "We're going to have a full train." The driver tried to soothe him as much as possible, but it did no good. Sir Handel was keen for a break from the hustle and bustle, but he knew his week out of service was still a long way off. However, as he moved out from the station, he felt something which could give him the reprieve he was hoping for. "There's a bolt loose at the top of the cab. If I rock and roll as much as I can, I'll shake the cab even looser. Then I shall have to rest while it's mended." Sir Handel shook and swayed all the way up the valley in a bid to shake the bolt loose. He took advantage of every yard of bumpy rail and made for a very uncomfortable ride in the cab. "Steady, boy," called the driver. But going steady was the last thing on Sir Handel's mind, and he continued on at every available opportunity he got. At the end of the day, his driver and fireman checked him over thoroughly, thinking it might be a damaged spring, but they could find nothing wrong with him. Skarloey, however, knew something wasn't right, and wasn't shy in saying so. "You're up to something, aren't you, Sir Handel? I saw you when I was stopped in the loop line. You were awfully shaky on the way down." "Driver and fireman can't explain it, and neither can I." "You wouldn't be trying to damage yourself to try and get time off, would you?" Peter Sam asked. "Of course not. What respectable engine would do a thing like that?" "An engine who wants more time off," quipped Ivo Hugh. "You'd do well to be more careful, Sir Handel," said Skarloey firmly. "You should know better." Sir Handel said nothing and subsided into silence for the rest of the evening. The following morning he had descended into a very bad mood. The driver spoke severely to him when he brought him to the water tower. "Now you had better behave yourself today, and we'll have no more of this rough riding. Some of the passengers complained to the thin controller after your antics yesterday. You don't want them to think we're a bad railway, do you?" Sir Handel was indignant. "I can't help it if I've developed a tendency to shake a little." "You've pulled something like this before with the fire bars, and I remember it well. I'll find out what you're up to, Sir Handel, and I'll put a stop to it." But Sir Handel thought he knew better, and grinned deviously as the driver walked back to the cab to prepare properly for the first train. "Today's the day," he smirked as they backed down on the waiting coaches at the platform. That day his driver checked him at every opportunity, but Sir Handel paid no attention, and he bumped and bounced all along the line. At the middle station, just after lunchtime, everything fell into place with a huge bump. "You nearly derailed us there, you silly engine!" scolded his crew, but Sir Handel didn't care. Nearly there," he wheezed proudly. He knew exactly what he was doing. He had remembered where all the bad bits were, and keenly used them to his advantage, and the old points at the middle station were the worst of all. Sir Handel hit them with a huge clunk, and it finally shook the bolt loose from his cab. "There's something loose," groaned the fireman, getting back to his feet after the jolt. "This is probably what he's been trying for." "I knew he was up to something," grumbled the driver. They stopped at the station, and the driver inspected the damage. "What on earth's happened?" asked Sir Handel innocently. "Don't behave like you wouldn't know. You've shaken your cab bolt loose." "What do we do now?" "Skarloey and Peter Sam are already up the line, and it'd take too long to get any of the others ready in time to come and help you. You'll have to take the train, and it'll serve you right." Sir Handel was fuming. He had expected to be taken out of service right away for repairs. "What about my cab?" "You should have thought of that earlier. Now come on." Reluctantly, Sir Handel did carry on with his train, but as they did, something strange began to happen. At the top station, Skarloey was waiting impatiently for Sir Handel to arrive when all of a sudden he heard a very unusual noise coming over the hill. "What a queer noise," said the station master. "It sounds like an engine trying to whistle, but he can't quite manage it." "That's Sir Handel's whistle," Skarloey laughed. And it was. The chain which worked his whistle kept catching every time Sir Handel's cab rattled, giving out a faint peep each time. Sir Handel was furious and found the situation most undignified, particularly because his crew had descended into giggle fits. "Needless to say, I doubt you'll be trying this again, Sir Handel," laughed the driver. "Not if it means suffering like I have today. No!" For the rest of the day, Sir Handel tried to work with as few shakes and rattles as possible. It didn't always work, and for the remainder of his downward journey he had a number of people attracted by the whistle gathering to stiles, fences, and bridges to wave at him as he passed by. The driver and fireman had never seen so many people coming to wave to Sir Handel before, but they laughed and agreed it was because they had never quite whistled so much before either. Sir Handel gave a deep sigh of relief when the driver and fireman stayed late to mend the broken bolt, but the Thing Controller still had plenty to say to him. "I should think most of the valley heard about your antics, Sir Handel. Most of them heard you coming down the line. You were a very naughty engine." "Yes, sir. I am sorry, sir," mumbled Sir Handel meekly. "Not to worry, Sir Handel," soothed his driver. "It'll be back to work as usual tomorrow. Your cab bolt is fixed as good as new, so there'll be no more silly whistling." "I should certainly hope not," said the Thing Controller. "And I hope you'll think twice about bouncing around like that again. I'd expect you to know better, Sir Handel." "Oh, don't worry, sir," said Ivo Hugh cheekily. "Sir Handel might well be old and ill-mannered, but he'll learn one day." Sir Handel said nothing. He just stood and scowled. But needless to say, he knew better than to try something so stupid again in future.